Hello, friends and followers and new followers. I really appreciate all my new followers. And to remind you to please share them to your friends so they can learn what I'm teaching. Put it that way. And I want to remind you to like and share and comment. And you're always welcome to email me if you have any questions, any concerns, things you don't understand, things new that's entered in your life. Just remember, this is my mission. I don't charge. I'm an energy healer, and energy is free. So, my topic today is why religious people suffer. Now, I channeled this whole information to begin my video with, and when I channel something, I have the thought, of course, and the idea, and I understand it, but I want to read it so I don't miss anything. So it does come from me and my guides, and it's not the whole video that I'm going to read, but I'm just going to read what I wrote to begin with. So I figured out a scenario. Religion has always intrigued me, but to begin with, seriously, this is the deal. What I want you to do is be open-minded, listen to what I have to say without prejudging from your childhood, your thoughts, or you think this is going down a negative path. Because I'm not religious bashing, but there are truths that so many of you are not even familiar with. And so I want to show you what I picked up, tell you what I picked up, and then you can make the decision what you think yourself. Because that's how it always works. No matter what you read, no matter what you hear, always check with your higher self first. Is this true? Is this my truth? And then you can just take it from there. So anyway, going back, I figured out this scenario. You go to church because I don't know really how it all started, because society tells you. Think about the rules society rules, about your relationship rules, your dating rules, when you can have sex, how long you're supposed to grieve over a death, how long you're supposed to wait to date after you get divorced. And if you don't follow these rules, other people point their fingers at you, judge you, and talk about you, right? Where did these rules come from? They're not real rules. So you can take all the rules that you've ever learned and just toss them out the window. Because if you want to know the workings of the world, what the real guides are, I don't know, I like to call them rules, but they're laws. They're the universal laws. Now, in the beginning, I posted videos and I actually tried to read like 50 universal laws, and you can find them on this channel. Or you can go to YouTube and Google the universal laws, and you will find them there, because that's where I found them. And that's the laws that govern the planet. And that's what this has to do with also. So anyway, you go to church and think about it like this. We are one. I am you, you are me. It's we. We're not separate. But the world has been put on a separation journey. We separate each other by race and religion. We separate ourselves from country. We separate ourselves from color. And that's all erroneous stuff, because we're one and we're only in a body temporarily. And when you came to your body, for some reason, you chose to be a religious person or not a religious person this life. You chose to be Catholic, Jewish, Protestant, Buddha, whatever you are, what you think you are, you chose it before you showed up here. Um, so religion teaches separation because now there's all these different religions. There's the Jewish religion, there's the Catholic religion, there's the Christian religion. For some reason, which has baffled my mind completely, is Christianity seems to like rule the world. You know, God only knows why. It's a very, very controlling religion. So anyway, you are taught, let's see here, you're taught fear in religion, in religious practices. You're taught that God judges you. You're taught that there's heaven and hell. You're taught that you have to be good to go to hell, to go to heaven. Excuse me. Or if you're bad, you go to hell. And what is bad? I don't think they ever really explain it. I don't know. I'll just say that when I was a child, I was born into a Jewish family. I always thought that it was a waste of time to go to synagogue and listen to some rabbi speak Hebrew that I never even understood. So I was pretty bored. And I didn't have any Jewish friends. I had a lot of Catholic friends. And one of my Catholic girlfriends had said to me, why don't you come to church with me? So I thought, well, why not? I'll check it out, see what it's like. So I went to church with her. And then after the service, we were out in the parking lot, and I said, why don't you come to synagogue with me? And she says, I can't do that. That's against my religion. And I'm like in elementary school. I don't know what my age is, but my elementary school went to the 6th grade. So it's any time between 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th grade, 6, 7, 8, 9 years old type of thing. And I stood there, and this is the thought that went through my head. I could have been in her body. I could have had her mother as my mother. I would have been Catholic. She could have been born in my body. She could have had my mother, and then she would have been Jewish. Who would think that anybody would even have that thought, not alone at that early age? And it just baffled my mind. And then a voice came to me and said, religion is man-made. So ever since elementary school, I've never followed any kind of religion whatsoever. And I am analytical, and I do notice people suffer over the rules and the restrictions of religion, because you're even told that you can't, if you're Catholic, I don't think you can get divorced. And there's this whole thing about sex, and you're not supposed to have sex before marriage. I don't know, all this stuff. And I do remember as a teenager, when I would walk to school, to high school, there was all these girls who went to a private Catholic school. There's a lot of those schools in San Francisco where I was born. And I used to think to myself, that doesn't seem normal that these girls go to school and there's no men or boys, around. And I bet every single one of them will get pregnant. And that's the thought that went through my head. And you know that most all of them did. Anyway, that was just something I wanted to add. So when I was a teenager, I would go out with my friends, and some other people would find out that I was Jewish, and they would come up to me and they would shove their cross in my face and tell me that I killed Jesus Christ, and throw me out and tell me I'm not allowed to hang around with them anymore. So, other than the fact that I have this different mind and I see things differently, and I was bullied for that, I was also bullied because I was Jewish. And none of that makes sense to me. So let's fast forward into the now process. Now I understand everything and I see everything and I analyze people and I learn from it. And this is what I saw just 2 days ago. And this is why you suffer. You go to church, you learn that, you have to behave and you have to be a good person, whatever that means. You know for sure that if you're a murderer, a robber, or a rapist, for sure you're going to go to hell. But what if you're just an everyday person? What if you lie to people? What if you talk about people? Well, a lot of religious people are sad, depressed, angry, confused, and very judgmental, which is so against the universe. And not understanding that you create your own life, because God is not a person, but God is creator source energy. I'm energy, you're energy, the whole world is energy. There's nothing else here but energy, which I've talked about before. So let's just say you get sick, you get cancer, somebody dies in your family, someone gets cancer, someone gets in a car accident and they're on their deathbed, and you pray and beg and plead God to heal this person and don't let this person die and don't let this person get sick. And this is how you were taught, that if you were good and you pray, God will come and save you. And when God doesn't come and save you, you get mad, you get angry, you hate God. You start bashing God, and then you become revengeful, and then you want to get back at this person. You took my son's life or my daughter's life or my husband's life, and I want him to take yours. And that's what happens when you're on the road of deceit, lies, fear-based information, because none of that is true. Now, you can't follow rules that you know inside your heart are not real, but you don't step out of the rules because you fear the outcome. You fear people like me who tell you things that are different. And what if I'm wrong? And what if you start following this way and then you die and you're punished? And then you want all kinds of proof, which my videos are about proving everything to yourself, because you can't hear things, you can't read things, you can't change yourself when you don't become this new person. And you can't just become something when you're used to being a different way. So you have to take baby steps. You need to practice a thought. Take it in until it becomes you. Until you know that when you're attacked by other people, that has nothing to do with you. And so you don't do that reaction that you're used to doing. When you stop reacting to things, you're totally on the road of change and recovery and self-healing. So, excuse me, I forgot to bring this over. I'll be right back. Oh, I'm sorry. Yesterday, I received a gift from my dear friend, Cynthia, and I've known her since, 1980, 86, long time. And she sent me this book, The Afterlife of Billy Fingers. Now, I'd heard of Billy Fingers. I've heard of that saying the afterlife. I never really connected the dots on what it means by the afterlife. It never even dawned on me. I thought it was a cartoon or a movie or whatever, so I never got into it. Anyway, so she sends me this book, and I'm like, I tell you what, it kind of goes with my video. Even though it's not religious, it's not about religion, really. It's about, my video is about rules and scenarios that you've all guided your whole life with. I mean, I've seen talk shows where people become celibate, and because they're going to praise God, because this is what God wants them to do. All this stuff is a waste of your time. Now, this, I'll just tell you really quickly, and I actually highlighted some things here that I wanted to share with you, which I will also read to you. So just to give you an idea, this book is about a girl, and her brother was Billy Fingers, and kind of her life, and she was emotional and sensitive, and they were religious, and blah blah blah. And her brother was much older than her, but he was into drugs, and he was in jail, and he just had a lot of issues, a lot of problems. They didn't see each other, and so they didn't really talk to each other because he's got addicted to heroin and cocaine and stealing. I mean, he just had a miserable life. He wasn't a great person, let's put it that way. But back up, nobody on this planet is a bad person, because remember, we have a veil around us, because our soul is only about love. We came from love, and not just the love of our parents, because trust me, some of our parents didn't love each other. Some of us were born out of rape and something negative. See, so where did that love come from? It came from where you came from. You came from reality. This planet is not reality. You came from love. You came from knowledge. You came from knowing everything. You just came here with no memory of it. That's it. Now, through the years, there's a lot of people who have posted and written and on television and on documentaries about people who've experienced near-death experiences, who know what it's like to leave the planet, come back, and all that kind of stuff. Well, this is even better, because after 2 days before he was killed in a car accident, and actually I think he was walking, he got hit by a car. She was thinking about him 2 days before. She wondered where he was, how he was doing, whatever. And so 2 days later, she gets this phone call from the police telling her that her brother died, and they just had her information and where they could send his belongings to. He really didn't have anything, and then I don't remember how long after he passed. She was miserable. She was upset. She was sad. She was crying. She felt bad she didn't try to reach out to him more and stuff like that. And then he came to her and started talking to her and telling her. He told her step by step what happens after you die. Just call it death. Why not? That's what you all relate to. I call it transition. We'll call it death. And how he went through this chamber of light, and how the love he felt and the energy was so powerful and so strong, and his journey. Now, I've only read 50 pages, and it's 188 pages, but she even writes about how she thought, how would I know this? She always needed proof, like you all need proof. Which is fine. And she would think something, and then he would tell her what she was thinking 2 days later. And then she would still kind of wonder, like, did I make that up? Did I dream about it? And then he would know about her friends and what her friends were feeling and what they were saying. And he would tell her, call your friend and tell her this word right here. And do you see what I'm saying? There's no way in hell, you can't believe this, but this is what he says, I never got permission for anything in life. That's because it was a different deal. Those in power here, should be in power, but not like on earth. So when he says here, he's talking about where he's at right now, because he's not on earth. So he's saying the people that are in power are there, not here, because nobody on earth should have any power. And there isn't. He goes, there's such a lack of kindness on your planet. He said it's hard to be kind all the time where you are, because if you don't toughen up, you go under. The nature of existence there is here, Earth, is harsh. You fix one hole and another pops up. It's supposed to be like that, though, so don't be too concerned about it. Which means that we're always challenged. You'll never get to a point in your life where everything is great and you'll not have a challenge to deal with, because that is part of life, is being challenged and learning. Being challenged, growing, learning. Being challenged, growing, learning. It's not any kind of a punishment. So take that out of your thought. You never get punished for anything you do. I was done with my life, he says. I paid my debt, although it's not what we usually think of as payment. It wasn't some price for my so-called sins. I'm going to say that again. It wasn't a price for my so-called sins. It was more a learning thing. How do I know my life wasn't some punishment for my past transgressions? Well, because there's no such thing. You're not on earth to be punished. It's not about sin and punishment. There's a human concept. That's a human concept. Something man made up. Humans make up stuff, and then they believe it. Sure, there's a lot of pain in life, but not because you've done anything to deserve it. Here's another secret for you, baby sister. Pain is just part of the human experience, as natural as breath or eyesight, or blood moving through your veins. Pain is part of the earth deal, so don't be overly concerned about it. Although I admit I wasn't exactly fond of pain myself. And how do I know all of this? Well, honestly, I don't know. All of a sudden, I just know a bunch of things I didn't know when I was alive. When you're born, when you pop out, that big pop gives you a kind of amnesia. One of the main things we're doing when we're alive is trying to remember the things we forgot. There's a different kind of knowledge here. You really understood, and what a relief that is. So many problems in life come from not being understood or known. People on earth sometimes get glimpses of each other's souls, like when they fall in love. The difference is here, I am my soul. I'm still Billy, but without my body. And it goes on. This is the book, The Afterlife of Billy Fingers. Now, that is synchronicity. I was told on Saturday that I was going to do a video. I had no idea. I woke up yesterday, still had no idea. Then I was told something would click in me. And I read something on Facebook. One sentence, bam, that was it. So then yesterday, late afternoon, I knew I was going to do this video. And then I got all this information that I just read to you. And then probably like 4 hours later, I got my mail and here comes this book. The timing is always divine. You don't ever have to worry about anything. You don't need to stress over anything. All you need to do is focus on loving yourself, lifting yourself. And right now, during all of the change that's going on astrologically, we have generation planets, and one of them just left, Uranus just left a planet and entered into Taurus for another till 2026. So do the math. We have our sun sign that moves every 28 days. We have our moon sign, that changes, our Venus, our Mars, and all of that. And then we have these generation planets. That's why new generations are born and they have different ideas and different thoughts than you did, or the next generation, or the next generation. And that's just how it works. Now, the things that he just knows, because he's not on planet Earth, are things that some of us just know. Like, I just know things. I'm told things, true, but other things I just know. And that's what'll happen to you when you rid yourself of fear, of old programmings, of rules, of regulations, of negative thoughts, of death, of dying, of being good, whatever the heck that means. Do you know what I'm saying? So when you feel depressed right now, or sad, or overwhelmed with emotion, this is your trapped emotions that are in your body that you have carried with you since not only this lifetime, but all your lifetimes. So you are a sum total of all your lives. You're not just John, Joe, whoever, Mary, Sue, Karen, this life. That's it. You're all your lives mixed together because you've experienced in your soul. And when you continue, if you get this book, which I suggest you do, especially if you're a non-believer, and you want to know what it's like after you leave this planet, and you want to not be fearful and not be afraid of things and not fall into all the propaganda and fear-based news and all this stuff that everybody's afraid of, and all the hate and the I'm right, you're wrong, and the judgments and the separation. You want to go down the path of oneness, the path of love. You want to get rid of your veil, your masks that you've been that cover your soul, because your soul is love, and you want to tap into that. And the way to do that is to be open-minded, to wake up every morning, and if a negative thought hits you, say something positive right away. I'm all that I am, and all that I am is love. Just keep repeating positive affirmations. I'm happy, I'm powerful, I'm free, I'm sincere, I am love. And when you just say that, all those negative thoughts can't encase you in fear, because you're not thinking about the fear, you're thinking about the positive things. That's how you start to change. And be in touch with your higher self. Your higher self is your guide. It's your multidimensional self. So it's you who is everywhere on the universe. It's you that sojourns to different planets and sees things and knows things. It's you who is your higher self. That's the guide you want to be involved with more than anything else in the world. So, I hope you enjoyed my video. This is my message for you today. I don't want to keep going on and on like I can, so you'll watch the whole thing. I hope you all have a blessed day. And I just want to add, you don't need to go to church to have a relationship with God, because you can go in your closet and have a relationship with anybody you want to. You can stay in the privacy of your own home, because we're energy. One thing I do want to bring up too is one interesting fact that was in this book, especially if you don't buy it, is he said while he's, wherever he is, he sees stars and the energy and the love, and he says there's a hole, and then you can look down the hole and you see the people, and you can tap into, like he does his sister. He knows her dreams. He knows what she thinks, what she feels. He comes and tells her, why are you depressed? And then she says whenever he comes around, his energy is so full of love and so powerful that she automatically feels better. And that's what happens when you're around positive, uplifting people. And when you're around negative people, you attract that negative energy comes on your body and you don't even know it. You just all of a sudden feel depressed, especially if you were happy and now you're depressed. Maybe you thought of somebody and that person is depressed and you picked up that energy. That's how it works. Energy, energy, energy. God is energy. We are energy. We are love. Nothing else. Happy Tuesday. I told you I can just go on and on. So anyway, have a blessed day and I love you all.